Hello. If you're a follower of mine, you'll know that I like to grow vegetables in these small 10-inch water buckets. You'll also know that last year I gave these a go for the very first time here at Home Grown Veg in the United Kingdom, these fabric bags. So I grew vegetables in buckets and I grew vegetables in bags. And I produced a series of videos which I've uploaded because I wanted to know which was best, grow vegetables in buckets or grow vegetables in bags. So I grew potatoes in buckets, I grew potatoes in bags. I grew carrots in buckets, I grew carrots in bags. I grew beetroot in buckets, I grew beetroot in bags. I grew onions in buckets, I grew onions in bags. I grew garlic in buckets, I grew garlic in bags, and on and on and on. And I uploaded those videos. At the end of the growing season, I would turn out a bucket of potatoes, I would turn out a bag of potatoes, I would turn out a bucket of carrots, I would turn out a bag of carrots, I would turn out a bucket of beetroot, I would turn out a bag of beetroot, I would turn out a bucket of garlic, I would turn out a bag of garlic. And so a comparison was relatively simple. Everything was there in front of me to be weighed, to be judged, to be counted. But that wouldn't work when I'd done it with tomatoes, cucumbers and courgettes. That wouldn't work because of the extended growing season, the extended harvesting season. I was going to be taking cucumbers and courgettes and tomatoes probably for a month, maybe 2 months. So I needed a way of reckoning. So I invented the pebbleometer. Yogurt pot, clothes peg, yogurt pot, clothes peg, and pebbles. So if we got took a cucumber off the cucumber plant in the bucket, 1 cucumber. If we took a cucumber off the plant in the bag, 1 cucumber. 2 courgettes, 3 tomatoes. That's how we did it. That's how we kept a reckoning of what I was growing. Now I'm going to cut you to a short clip of video now that shows me at the end of the growing season with the cucumbers, the courgettes and the tomatoes and the actual count up from the pebbleometers. If you want to give this a go, it's dead easy and it's fun. That's the main thing. It's fun to do and it stops you mistaking your imagination for your memory. It's an accurate accounting of what you grow in that particular growing year. If you keep records, it's ideal. Okay, enjoy the videos. Just a small trial, but a trial nevertheless, with accurate results thanks to these pebbleometers. This is the bucket and this is the bag. Okay, and that's the divide line. Let's see what we've got in the bag first. Just move them out there. That's 10 courgettes grown in a bag. Right next to that bag we have a bucket. Let's see how many courgettes grow in the bucket. Eight courgettes grow in the bucket. 10 courgettes grow in the bag. Could we reasonably say bags grow courgettes better than buckets? Just on a couple of courgettes over a whole season? Or would you say the bag and the bucket performed equally? Okay, still with us. Which is which? Let's just check. That's the bucket. And that's the bag. Let's do the bag first, shall we? Let's do the bag first. So each one of these pebbles represents cucumber. So I've already counted these, and if I haven't got it wrong, there's 19 cucumbers came out of the bag. Well, you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you? 19 cucumbers came out of the bag. Yep, I'd be happy with that. Let's see what came out the bucket. Well, just looking at that, there seems to be more cucumbers, doesn't there? That's the bucket. That's the bag. The bag has delivered us 19 cucumbers. The bucket has delivered us 26 cucumbers. That's 7 more than the bag. Now then, on the face of it, buckets grow cucumbers better than bags. But hey, this is a small trial. It couldn't be any smaller, could it? How can it be smaller than 1 bag each? It couldn't be any smaller. This is the smallest trial in the world for growing cucumbers in buckets and bags. But this is the result. I'm sharing it with you. I feel sure that the cucumber that grew in the bucket probably grew better because it was a better plant than the cucumber that grew in the bag. But I don't know that. You know, if I'd had a few dozen of these on the go growing cucumbers and I'd have this result, I'll be saying, yeah, we should be growing cucumbers in buckets rather than bags. But because this is probably the smallest trial in the world, then I can't say that. But I'm sharing this result with you. Was it worth doing? Well, yeah, I've enjoyed doing it. And there's one thing I can say with absolute certainty. I know exactly how many cucumbers I've grown on 2 plants this year. How about you? Heinz 1350 growing in a bucket. sun gold growing in a bag. I think you'll agree. This is a good return, isn't it? This is a good return. We're at the height of the tomato picking season at the moment, so I must tell you that this wouldn't be typical, but at its best, this is what you can expect to be taking off 12 tomato plants in a greenhouse, in your garden, at home. This is what I've harvested over the last few days, and on this table there'll be examples of Crimson Crush, Sun Gold, easily recognisable, Sun Gold, Crimson Crush, Heinz 1350, I think these might be Crimson Crush actually, these are Cerise, these didn't do so well, there's some Big Daddy back here, and there's some Shirley. So yeah, we're happy with what we've achieved this year. Okay, I think you could see from that we have 2 cherry tomatoes, we have 2 standard size tomatoes, the size of a tomato you would usually buy in a grocery store, and we have 2 beefsteak tomatoes. Okay, so we have a fair cross section, don't we? We're going to start with the cherry type tomatoes, and we're going to start with cerise. Okay, so this is cerise in a bucket, and this is cerise in a bag. Let's check the bucket first. That's cerise in the bucket, cerise in the bag. Looks fairly even Steven, doesn't it? And that's because it is. What we actually got was, we got 62 tomatoes in the bucket and 66 tomatoes in the bag. So there isn't a great deal of difference there, is there? And so that wouldn't persuade me one way or the other. Go with bags or go with buckets. I think one is as good as the other in terms of how it can support a tomato plant. Okay, so 62 cerise in the bucket, 66 cerise in the bag, small cherry tomatoes, probably about, how big, let me find a pebble, probably about that size. Okay, let's tidy these off and we'll go with the other cherry tomato, which is Sun Gold. Now I've grown cerise before, but I've never grown Sun Gold before, and I grew Sun Gold because it had a great reputation for flavour. Let me tell you, it didn't disappoint. Wow, Sun Gold is absolutely gorgeous, straight off the vine. It really is. I mean, I've given quite a few of these away to neighbours and family, and they've all said, what was that tomato? It was gorgeous. So if you're looking for a variety to try next year, if you've never grown sun gold before, I'll recommend it. If you have grown sun gold before, you'll know all about it. Okay, so this is sun gold. I got so many tomatoes on these two plants, I actually thought we would overflow the pebbleometers. I don't know if you can tell, but let me get a pebble out of here and one out of these one over here. Let me have a look. I don't know if you noticed, but the pebbles have got significantly smaller, and they've had to get smaller because I was going to overflow the pebbleometers. I got so much fruit off these two plants, sun gold. Right, let's do sun gold in the bucket. Wow, that's a lot of tomatoes, isn't it? And sun gold in the bag. Hey, that's a lot of tomatoes. That is a lot of tomatoes. And they tasted absolutely gorgeous. Right, what's the scores on the doors? Well, sun gold in the bucket produced 103 tomatoes. Sun gold in the bag produced 111. Again, too close to call, really. You would be happy with that. You would be happy with that. Neither the bag nor the bucket disappointed. And so, based on the two we've just looked at, I don't think I would recommend one being better than the other. What do you think? What do you think? I'll tell you what I did like about the bags. One thing I didn't realise and I didn't expect, and it's never been mentioned on any other videos that I've watched, is that we know the bags are breathable, okay, because they talk about air pruning. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But one thing you find when you're growing in, let's go with buckets first. One thing you find when you're growing in buckets is you never know if you've added enough water. You look at the bucket and it looks wet. And you think, yeah, but is that just the top of the bucket? Am I watering from the bottom? Is there enough water in there? Watering is always an issue when you grow in a container, a bucket or a bag. What I found with the bags is, because the fabric's breathable, when you water the bag, it actually seeps through the sides of the bag. The sides of the bag can become wet. And so, if you want to know if there's enough moisture in that bag, you can actually feel the sides of the bag near the bottom, and if the sides of the bag feel wet, then there's moisture in the soil in the bag. You can't do that with a bucket. You can't, but you can with a bag. And if you feel the sides of the bag and the sides of the bag are dry, chances are the bag's drying out. You need to give it some water. But if it's wet, you know there's moisture in there. You may want to give it some more, but at least you know it isn't dry. Right, where are we going next? Let's go for Shirley. Yep, Shirley's a medium-sized tomato. Let's see if we can find the pebbleometer here. Yep, Shirley in the bag. There we are. Here we go. Shirley in the bucket. Okay, we'll do the bag first. Not as many tomatoes as the cherry types, but probably a similar weight if we're weighing them. As you can see, we're going for bigger pebbles now because we didn't need as many and we wouldn't overflow the pebbleometer. Okay, so Shirley in the bag, Shirley in the bucket. What's the scores on the doors? Shirley in the bag 39, Shirley in the bucket 34. It's close again, isn't it? It's close again. And this takes no account, incidentally, of how big those tomatoes were. There might have been fewer on this vine, but slightly bigger than the ones on this vine. So it's just a bit of an indicator, a rough guide, as to what you might expect if you grow in a bucket and a bag, and what difference there might be. Right, so that's Shirley, and I've got to tell you, Shirley is a variety that's been grown over a number of years in the United Kingdom, and it's a firm favourite with gardeners, and it doesn't usually disappoint. And the fruits, the tomatoes, tend to be uniform inside. Nice round red tomatoes. So that's Shirley, and that's one of the standard size tomatoes that you would probably buy in a shop. Okay, where are we at now? What are we going with now? We're going with Crimson Crush, again a standard size tomato, if there is such a thing. Let's see what we've got in the bag. Let's see what we've got in the bucket. Okay, so this is Crimson Crush. Now, Crimson Crush is advertised as being one of the most blight resistant tomatoes on the market. I haven't had blight, so I can't recommend it as a blight resistant tomato because it's never resisted blight for me. I didn't get blight. If I'd got blight and Crimson Crush hadn't been blighted, then I would tell you that. And there would be some proof, if you like, some practical proof. But as I say, I never got blight, so I don't know just how blight resistant Crimson Crush is. Anyway, what's the accounting? What have we got here? Let's have a look. Okay, so Crimson Crush in the bag delivered 20. Crimson Crush in the bucket delivered 26. Would that make you decide one way or another? It wouldn't me. No, it wouldn't. I think we're still level pegging here. Anyway, so that's Crimson Crush. 20 in the bag, 26 in the bucket. Only 2 to go, you'll be pleased to know. And the 2 to go, the 2 beef steaks. That's Heinz 1350 and Big Daddy. Now, I've grown neither of these two before. Okay, so this is a first for me. Which one are we going with? We'll go with Heinz 1350. Let's see, where's it at? Heinz 1350. Okay, Heinz 1350 in the bag. Not as many again. Heinz 1350 in the bucket. But you would expect this, wouldn't you? We've just moved from a standard size tomato to a beef steak tomato. So you get fewer tomatoes but bigger. I think you knew that, didn't you? Yeah, you knew that. Okay, so what's the scores on the doors? Well, Heinz 1350 in the bag delivered 11. Heinz 1350 in the bucket delivered 13. Not a lot in it, is there? Not a lot in it at all. But big fine tomatoes, it's got to be said. Big fine tomatoes, yeah. Heinz 1350, so we're happy with those. And those were the beef steaks. And the last one we're going to do is Big Daddy. Okay, here we go. Where's he at? Big Daddy. Yeah, there he is. So we'll go with Big Daddy in the bag first. And Big Daddy in the bucket. Bring those into shot. There you go. So how many have we got? Well, I'm making it Big Daddy in the bag 9 and Big Daddy in the bucket 11. But this is just a small sample, isn't it? This might not be totally representative of how this would turn out if you grew hundreds of these plants in bags and hundreds of these plants in buckets. But I've only got an 86 greenhouse, and actually what I was looking for was the bags to win by a mile, and then I would be growing in bags, or the buckets to win by a mile, and then I'd be growing in buckets. But they're both winners as far as I can see. It's a dead heat. It's just too close to call. I mean, that's what I think. What do you think? What do you think? Have you enjoyed this? It's been a bit of a long road at times, but I've quite enjoyed doing it, and I've quite enjoyed this count because I was looking to get a result. I was looking to get a result. If a draw is a result, then I've got the result. But you may see it differently. You may see it differently. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. It's been a long haul, but we've got there eventually. And you've got to the end of the video with me, so hey, thanks for staying with it. This is Home Grown Veg, signing out.